Now we move on to our next news. US President Donald Trump has stated that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy should refrain from targeting Moscow, despite previously encouraging Ukraine to step up strikes on Russia. President Trump has confirmed that shipments of military aid. Let's listen into what he has said.
When do you think the first Patriot missiles, some of these weapons that our allies will buy?
They're already being shipped.
From what countries?
They're coming in from Germany and then replaced by Germany, and in all cases, the United States gets paid back in full.
We're going to see what happens with President Putin, Trump has said, expressing frustration that the Russian leader has not lived up to his claims of wanting peace. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte acknowledged that discussions are still underway regarding longer-range weapons for Ukraine. He also warned about countries facing sanctions. Let's listen in to what he has said.
With that sanctions bill, saying, listen, if you are the president of China, or the prime minister of India, or the president of Brazil, and you are still trading with the Russians and getting the oil and the gas in, and you sometimes even resell it for a higher price, know that if this guy in Moscow doesn't get serious about peace talks, I will slam secondary sanctions on you of 100%. So I'm sure they don't know yet what hit them. This will take some time to sink in, and I think you guys making this clear in the media, the senators maybe also discussing this with their counterparts in Brazil, India, China, will be very helpful to put maximum pressure on Russia in addition to the weapons delivery into Ukraine.
Rutte, alongside U.S. senators, welcomed Trump's tougher stance against Moscow, underscoring the pressure on Russia to negotiate a ceasefire. With just 50 days to reach a deal, the stakes are higher than ever as global powers brace for further escalation. Now we're joined by Shruti Das Gupta. She's an international affairs expert joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you, Shruti, for joining us today. Good to see you. How do you interpret President Trump's shift from encouraging Ukraine to strike Russia and now advising Zelenskyy not to target Moscow while thinking about more arms aid to Ukraine?
Greetings, Asuma. Thank you for inviting me. Trump wants to bring an end to the Ukraine-Russia war, but not really. Like, he would like it to happen, but it is definitely funding his military-industrial complex, and in a big way. As we've just heard in your earlier report, he's asking Patriot missile systems that are in Germany that to be restationed into Ukraine, and EU is going to pay for it, which is exactly what led Kaja Kallas to ask US to share the burden by stating that if you're saying you're giving the weapons, but you're asking EU to pay for it, it doesn't really mean that you're giving the weapons, you're just selling it to them. So for now, it looks like Trump wants to sell more weapons, and that in a way encourages manufacturing in US, and it brings in lots and lots and billions of dollars and makes him look good. While he talks of being on the side of humanity, he is selling bombs, missiles, attacking equipment. He says he wants to be on the side of peace, but you've never seen a man who talks of peace and drops bombs on countries left, right, and center. So Trump is trying to put Putin in a corner by supplying more and more money, earning the goodwill of his own lobbies, arms lobbies inside USA, while doing the pretense of talking peace with Putin. Moscow on its own is feeling as if they've been put on a deadline, are being used by Trump to play this pull and push game with EU, with Ukraine, and their own arms lobby. So it's a very murky situation, and I don't feel Trump is on any other side except his own.
And now, given Trump's confirmation of continued military aid shipments, how might this affect the balance between supporting Ukraine's defense aid and then avoiding escalation with Russia? How do you think might these statements come across to Russia and Russia's perception of US?
Well, Russia's already been betrayed by USA once when that entire Operation Spiderweb happened. That was an 18-month-long operation in planning, and that means that the Biden administration had already leaked confidential information to Zelenskyy and had helped them plan out a very devious, insidious attack on Russia itself. And that was part of their South One program, where between US and Russia during the mutual nuclear disarmament deals, they had told each other where their nuclear bombing planes would be, and those planes were supposed to be on site, available via geosatellites to each other, so that they can keep a track of each other and have a sense of faith. So this was a break of faith by the US under Biden administration, for which Trump had to take the brunt. So right now Moscow is not feeling too good about it, and being pressured into a corner with the deadlines of 50 days and additional sanctions, they don't spell as a man who wants camaraderie anymore. It means a man who wants to dictate terms. So Moscow is not going to be very happy about it, and Putin doesn't really respond well to such kind of pressure tactics. You might just see an escalation towards Zelenskyy and his Ukraine, rather than a de-escalation as a result of all these pressure tactics.
Thank you very much, Shruti Das Gupta, for joining us today and sharing your insight as an international affairs expert. Now, that's all we have time for. We will continue to bring more news updates from